If you watch our videos, you would think that our trips go off without a hitch, but that is not exactly true. We have been on many trips where reservations were lost, the food was bad, cars broke down, or it was just a waste of money. Our first and only cruise was one of those trips. We really did not enjoy our time on the ship, and even though many people love a good cruise, we discovered it just isn't for us. So come with us as we tell you why we didn't enjoy our cruise to the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico. So we went on a cruise for the first time ever, and we didn't like it.
Yeah, not much fun.
Yeah, we were really bored and anxious to get to where we were going. So we left from Galveston, which is actually a really good idea to do because if you go down to Florida, the airfare is a lot more expensive. So we went to Galveston because it's a hop, skip, and a jump from the Denver area.
Or an airplane ride.
And we actually probably had a better time in Galveston than we did on the ship. Oh no, it's Lafitte himself. Oh no!
Smelly Lafitte.
What's his name?
Smelly Lafitte.
Smelly Lafitte. You know? But what's neat about Galveston is the ships are right there. Galveston's an island. It's got the ocean on one side and it's got a really cool deep harbor on the other side. And so we literally could stay in a hotel right next to the ship. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But when we got on the ship, we had really high expectations of.
Well, I mean, the ship was beautiful, don't get
yeah.
me wrong. And, you know, it had pools and alcohol. And
How can you go wrong with that?
yeah. After the third day, the pool and the alcohol's looking the same. I don't know.
Yeah, it took us, 48 hours to get down to the Yucatan Peninsula from Galveston.
Yeah. And so, and going back to the alcohol, it was expensive.
So, yeah, let's talk about the drink package.
Drink package, what did we spend? About $1,000?
No, it was
To ensure we could stay drunk?
To ensure for us to stay drunk, we spent $500 because everybody told us to get the drink packages, that the drinks were really expensive. So, you know, we like to drink, so we thought we'd get the drink package.
Yeah, but I almost did liver damage trying to get my money's worth, so.
But the second day.
That drunk and stupid is no way to go through life.
Exactly. But the second day, you were so done drinking because you were trying to get your
maybe
money's
the
worth.
third day.
Maybe the third day.
And then we had the return trip, so
Yeah.
maybe the fourth day.
But you're trying to get your money's worth. And the part I really didn't like about it is that you couldn't use your drink package until the next day.
Oh, yeah. No, your first night's drinking you actually have to pay for. So it's something about it's not on the books.
That was ridiculous. What a scam. I'm sorry, but
They get a day's drinking out of you.
exactly. I spent $500 on a drink package and I have to pay for drinks the first day.
First day.
And so, of course, we were ready to have a great time, so we did a lot of drinking that first day. And then when the drink package, kicked in, we did a lot of drinking, and then I was burnt out on it. I didn't want to drink anymore. And it was like $500 I'm sorry, I thought it was a scam.
No, it didn't seem like it was worthwhile.
Yeah.
I don't know about a scam, but
Well, no, I think it is. I think it's, it's
you're
just...
not getting your money's worth unless you're a 19-year-old stumbling around deck.
Yeah, great if you're in your 20s and you're there to party, but, we weren't there. We don't go on vacation to go on a party. We're very past that
Well,
age.
I do like having a good time. Don't get me wrong, but again, so the drinking, the amount of the cost of drinking, I think, was excessive, and then Everywhere you went, people were smoking,
Oh, the smoking.
especially the casinos.
Number
Ooh,
one reason
hurts my eyes thinking
that
about
I
it.
will never take a cruise again was the smoking.
Yeah, maybe we can get a no smoking cruise.
It was
And then they wouldn't let you smoke weed, dude, but everybody had a cigarette in their hand.
so there was designated areas that you could smoke, and that was not outside. It was the casino and the bars, and to get to all the other things, like all the comedians and events, you had to go through this smoke-filled casino.
Well, yeah,
And
they
it was
want
just-
you to
it
go
was
through the
awful.
casinos to spend the money. But
But that's the thing is, we didn't spend a dime in the casinos because of the
honey,
smoking.
I might have. I like the one with the claw and I was trying to grab the big stacks of money. Yeah.
That's not gambling.
Yeah, it is. It's harder than blackjack.
Oh, so nothing against people out there that smoke, but we don't like it, and for good reason. I had a loved one pass because of smoking, and I don't want to be around it, and plus I have slight cases of asthma, and I couldn't be in those areas, and I just couldn't stand the smell, and so we didn't do a lot of the disco nights.
Disco night?
Yeah, there was a disco night.
We didn't see it because they were smoking.
Because of the
I don't know
smoking.
about all that. It just stinks. I don't
Yeah,
like being around
we
this
didn't
shit.
do all that stuff because we had to go through this area, and it was disgusting. I'm sorry, it was disgusting,
It was disgusting.
and I couldn't get away from it unless you were on the other side of the ship. So so the smoking.
Okay.
So reservations. The reservations for dinner.
Yeah.
So we booked our cruise in I did the booking in December. We were going in February.
How did we get stuck with the time slot that we got?
Because obviously we booked our cruise later than everybody else, and so we ended up. You either had a 6 o'clock time slot or like 6:30 or an 8 o'clock. Well, we are early dinner eaters. At 8 o'clock we're done.
When was the last time
and
you ate dinner at 8?
8 o'clock. It just
Try
we're-
it 5 nights in a row.
it's
You're
just
hungry.
it's just not our thing, and not to mention I'm gluten free, so it was important for me to be in the dining room and not the buffet, because I just would get better gluten free options and catering to.
Buffet food is buffet food.
Yeah, and it's like the same thing
Runny
every day.
eggs, yeah.
It was
Shitty
just
grits.
it was
Well,
just like the same
Shitty
food
grits.
every day.
It's kind of like cheese grits, but not as good.
Best thing I like about breakfast in the morning is the way the sun listens off the grease on my bacon.
That's some greasy bacon.
We can throw in some ham. There we go, man.
And I'm sorry, we spent a lot of money to go on this cruise and to eat at the buffet, and nothing against families, but we're past having the kids age, and we just kind of want to be catered to and have nice dining. And so doing the buffets, we were stuck eating with a lot of the families, and it's noisy and it's loud, and
Do we
and-
sound like we're complaining?
yeah, we're definitely complaining. I was very disappointed that
The love boat is boarding for another run. Mexico was great.
So that was great.
Poverty sucks, but
You got off the ships and your tours were waiting for you, and that was nice. Didn't care for the shopping gauntlet that you had to go through to get to your tour.
people got to eat.
They do. But it was so funneled, they funneled you into these areas, and I was in Mexico to see the culture and the history. And
Not to buy the trinkets.
and I've been there a lot of times. I do like to do my shopping, but I'm not going to buy a bunch of stuff, get on a tour bus, spend the entire day on my tour carrying this stuff.
Well, that's what backpacks are for.
And it just,
That and the Dos Equis.
and I don't know. The only thing that I really liked about the cruise were the tours. Although I was a little upset with Chichen Itza because it was so far away from the port that we couldn't see Chichen Itza in its fullest extent, and there was a lot of things he had never been there, and I wanted to show him, but we didn't have time.
I wanted to try out for the team.
You know, the game with the hoop where the team gets killed if they lose. You know that game, the Mayan game.
He got to make a great captain. Cut his head off!
Capitated!
At least they blow your balls. Okay.
So, what else do we want to complain about? Boredom.
Boredom. Yeah. There's always so much Trivial Pursuit you can play at the bar.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I think we did one on the Jeffersons. I think we did one on Friends. I think we did one on Mr. Roberts.
All there was to do during the day was sit around the pool, which I'm sorry, but I don't.
Well, after the first day.
I just, why everybody's partying. And then these stupid trivia games. And, you go work out. But I'm sorry, I don't go on vacation to, work out. I mean, I'll work out in the morning, but it's not how I want to spend my day.
I was working out. I did lots of curls.
Those mugs get heavy. So we were very bored.
So we were complaining. We were bored.
We were bored, and I got a lot of reading in, but that's great. But I would have rather done that on a white sand Yucatan beach than on the stuck on the ship. I just feel like I constantly had to do laps around the ship just to entertain myself and get some exercise. And then not until the end of the trip did we realize there was an adult level, but it was so small that trying to get a lounge chair and a chair was a small little area that was just adults where you could have kind of some peace and quiet and read your book, your own cabana, and a bar. And it was a private jacuzzi, but it was like really this small little area for, all the adults. It just, it was more of a family cruise than it was.
Well, who did we go with?
What do you mean? Who did we
cruise with? Was it?
Oh, I decided I'm not going to mention
names.
You're not
going to mention Well, because there are cruises that don't have all this, I would think.
Yeah, a lot of our friends said you need to try a different line, and which if we do go again, I think I would. I'm not
going again.
Well, if we do go again, then I would do Princess Cruise or something like that, but I would do it to Cuba.
Yeah, the number one reason I don't think I'll go on a cruise again is after being on the ship and watching it spew the tons of soot into the air from the huge diesel engines, I kind of felt like a schmuck sitting on this beautiful boat, drinking and just polluting the hell out of everything.
Exactly. And where does the poop all go? And the and the sewer?
Well, they have a reclaimed water system, or they actually sewer treatment. That's the word I'm looking for. They do have onboard sewer treatment, and then they let the treated stuff out into the ocean. But
you're still putting chemicals if it's treated. It's got chemicals in it, right?
No, not necessarily.
I don't know enough about it, but yeah,
I
just found it not environmentally friendly.
It's still not clean water. Yeah. It's treated water, which
is that gray?
You wouldn't swim in it. It's what California uses to irrigate their shrubs.
Well, also too, when we pulled into that one port that took us where we were going to go into Chichen Itza.
Yeah.
It was so shallow there, they made this lane.
Yeah, the engines are kicking up the dirt.
So they had built these lanes with buoys that the boats had to go through to get into this port because it was so shallow. But what bothered me was we were in the stern, which is the back of the boat, and you could see the propellers really stirring up the sand, and it being white sand because we're in the Yucatan and very blue waters, you could really see it. But I found it very disturbing to the habitats of the animals in the area by it constantly, all these ships, one right after another, doing this. And I mean, there's a lot of ships that go into this port.
Poor turtles.
Yeah, I found it just very disruptive to the environment. If you want to change anything, you constantly have to wait in line.
You gotta go sit at customer service.
I mean, really, if I want to go wait in the line, I'll go to Disney World. And we spent a lot of money on this cruise, and in order for me to change those dinner reservations to 6 o'clock, I had to go talk to the maitre d' to change them, and I had to do this every night.
And that shit didn't work either.
And so every time I went to go talk to the maitre d', nobody was there. And so if I wanted to show up at the 6:30 time and talk to the maitre d', I had to wait in this long line
Of everybody who was actually going to get to eat.
get to eat. And it was like, are you serious? So
We didn't eat in the dining room but once.
yeah, it was lunch
Yeah.
when nobody was there. But the thing is the difference between the buffet and this dining room is that you have to be dressed up usually to go into these dining rooms, and not for the buffet. You can be in your bathing suit. And so you're not sure if you're going to get to sit down to dinner. So why, it's like you're getting dressed up for nothing if they're not going to seat you. And if they didn't have room for you when you made your reservations before you ever got on the ship, then how are they going to have room for you now? That makes no sense.
Eat a 9 o'clock dinner.
It was ridiculous, Yeah, and the food was okay. I mean, I really didn't have much complaints about the food.
The burger bar was good. I ate there most
Yeah, the
nights.
burger. But again, I'm gluten free. Mark your food. Just say whether it's got dairy, wheat, or something in it. Doesn't have to say gluten free. Just put your ingredients on what it is so we can decide whether we can eat it or not. And then when you would ask somebody, nobody knew what was in their food they were serving.
Oh, no.
And so they go, oh, go get the chef. And it's like, the chef's trying to feed 1,000 people. Like, he's going to come out and talk to me. And so I'd stand there forever and ever just to find out. And I was like, fine, okay, I guess I'm having fruit in a salad, Again.
Fruit salad. There you go.
It just, I don't know. There was just a lot. There was just a lot of hassles. And for the amount of money we spent, we could have gone to a really nice resort in Mexico and been waited on hand and foot and not spend so much on liquor. And it just would have been a lot nicer instead of having that waiting time to get down to the Yucatan, to get down there, and then the time to come back. Oh, and then the time to come back. and then on the way back, remember the storm rolled in?
Oh, yeah, it was
And
rough
the
seas coming
rough
back.
seas.
And it wasn't real rough. It could have been a lot worse.
It could have been a lot worse, but it was when we were in our room.
And we were watching the waves go by.
It was like coming up, and it was a little freaky. And we didn't get seasick, but you had a hard time walking around, and it was cold. So what do? So it was like that for the last 48 hours of our cruise on the way back. So we can't lay around the pool. We can't sit out and watch the movies outdoors.
And there's only so much time you can spend in your room.
And it's like, oh, let's go play trivia. Haven't played trivia about the Jeffersons today.
Maybe they're going to do Frozen next.
We totally lose on that one. I mean, we don't have any grandkids yet, and our kids are all grown, so we totally lose on that one. So, but
Oh, yeah, and if you show up at trivia late, you don't get to answer the questions, remember?
oh yeah. But it'd be really nice. Here we're going to these wonderful cultures, and it would have been nice to have a talk on, the Mayan culture or Chichen Itza, or something that had to do with where we were going, instead of trying to sell me a painting or a bracelets. Or it was just, I would have liked to go to play things like that during the day.
We could have done, cultural trivia instead of Jefferson's trivia.
Exactly.
Or maybe the Jefferson's trivia is cultural trivia.
You're spending all this money to go to this wonderful culture in the Yucatan of the Mayans, and not one word.
We're learning about George and Wheezy.
I mean, seriously, they did
They
Jeffersons
did do the Jeffersons.
over and over and
That's
over
why
again.
we're joking so hard.
And Cheers and all the old shows, and it was just, I don't know. I think the only time I was ever entertained was in that one bar that was only open maybe twice the whole time we were there, where they did the mixology. Like it was like being in a
Yeah,
chemistry
that
lab.
was a really good martini bar.
Yeah, and it was only open like twice the whole time we were there, and that's like the only time I wanted to venture through the smoke was to go to this one
That
bar.
and to play the claw.
And to play the claw.
Play the claw. I think they put Vaseline on the claw.
So, anyways, before you go on one of these cruises, really research and listen to the reviews and talk to friends and really watch out what cruise line you do take. And ask these questions. Do you allow smoking? And if you do, where do you allow it? Again, I have nothing against smokers, but like we have all this outdoors around us, at least have the smoking areas outdoors. And not where we're, drinking and going to the casinos. And ask, these questions, do you serve gluten-free? How far in advance do I need to reserve to be able to have a normal dinner hour? Stuff like that.
How many gallons does this rig run, of diesel an hour? I'm not going to do it again. I'm serious.
Yeah.
When I look at the environmental impact, it really, really opened my eyes to like, wow, look how much diesel smoke we're putting into the air.
Yeah, it's
And
gross.
it's all just so we can putter across the ocean. We could have done it in a plane much quicker and more efficient.
Right.
Or even a raft.
Well,
you know?
again, if I was to do it again, I would do it to Cuba. And the only reason being is that, Cuba just opened up to tourism and there's not a whole lot of infrastructure there. And being the first time of going down there, I would want to check that all out for a second trip. And at least when you're on a cruise ship, you
Got a good place to stay.
got a good place to stay.
Plus, it's only 80 miles out of Miami. So.
Yeah, and they're setting everything up for you to go to the mainland, and it's a country that just has opened up, so it's a good place to do that. And I also suggest that if you do this, take a long one because it takes time to get where you're going, and if you're going to spend that much time getting someplace and getting back, take a 7 days. We did 5 days.
Yeah.
And those extra 2 days would have been nice. So, anyways, so this is probably our first bad review we've ever done of anything.
And boy, did we ramble.
So,
The Love Boat.
All right, so where are we going today?
Today, we're going to Chicken Pizza.
No,
Chichen
Itza.
Chicken Itza? Chicken Itza. There we go.
Chichen
Hey,
Itza.
today we're going to Chicken Itza, and we're going to see
A chick is in your
Mayan
pizza?
ruins. Chicken pizza? No, it's Chicken Itza.
Chichen Itza.
Chicken Itza?
Chichen Itza.
Chichen Itza? I got sores on my knees.
Chichen Itza.
I hear it's over yonder.